Good morning, children. I hope you got enough time to practice chapters 1 and 2. Today's class is on chapter 3, coordinate geometry. In chapter 1, number system, you were introduced to represent any real number on a number line, or if a line is given to you and a point A on it, you can attach a real number to the point A by making this line as a real number line by starting an origin 0 at equal distances. You can plot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and to the left side you can plot negative integers, and the point A on this number line represents a real number. And the concept was any real number can be represented on a number line, or any point on the number line will correspond to a real number. Now, if you consider a point on a plane, let A be a point on this particular plane. How do you fix the position of this point A? With a single number line as here, it is not possible to fix a position for the point A. For that purpose, we need two number lines which are perpendicular to each other, and the origin or the point from where 0 you are beginning with should intersect each other. If you prepare two number lines which are perpendicular to each other, and if the point A is in that plane, you can fix a position for that point A with not a single number, with an ordered pair. With an ordered pair. As they are two perpendicular real number line, let's plot the points at equal distance on this number line. -1, -2, -3, -4, and the horizontal number line, we always call it as x o x dash. The x part represents the positive side and the x dash direction shows the negative part. So the horizontal number line is always called as x o x dash, and the vertical number line, the positive numbers 5, 6, and the negative numbers in the direction below, and we call them as y o y dash, and the vertical axis, horizontal axis, as y, o, y dash. Thus, if you want to fix a position for a point in a plane, we should consider two perpendicular number lines. We call them as horizontal axis x, o, x dash, and the vertical axis y, o, y dash, where o represents the origin or 0 were used to plot in the number line. If you want to fix a position for any point in the plane now, the perpendicular distance of A from the x-axis is, you can see on the y-axis as 4 units, and the perpendicular distance, this length, is 3 units, as you see. That is, the point A is at a distance of 4 units from the x-axis and at a distance of 3 units from the y-axis. But we call the point as the ordered pair XY format. That is, the x coordinate is 3 and the y coordinate is 4. Here, the value of x as 3 denotes that it is at a distance of 3 units from the y-axis, and the value of y as 4 denotes the distance of the point from the x-axis as 4 units. The point A can be any one of these plane also. What is the distance of the point A in this position from the x-axis and y-axis? This point is represented as -3, 5. The part of this number line OX dash represents negative direction of the x-axis, and so the coordinate is -3, 5. Similarly, if A is in this position, the x value will be -2 and the y value will be -3. That is, it is at a distance of 2 units from the y-axis and the y value is at a distance of 3 units from the x-axis. This coordinate system x, o, x dash and y, o, y dash divides the Cartesian plane into 4 parts. Since they are perpendicular, we call them as quadrant. That means the coordinate system divides the Cartesian plane into 4 parts. We call each part as a quadrant, and we name the quadrant always in the anti-clockwise direction. The first quadrant in this position, second quadrant in this position, third quadrant, and this is the fourth quadrant. That means X, O, Y will represent the first quadrant, Y, O, X dash the second quadrant, X dash, O, Y dash third quadrant, and X, O, Y dash the fourth quadrant. And now, what will be the sign of the X coordinate and the Y coordinate of the ordered pair XY in all these 4 quadrants? it can be very well understood from the picture that any point on this plane, on this quadrant, will have the x value also positive and the y value also positive. That is, x also will be a positive value, y also will be a positive value. That is, in the first quadrant, both the coordinates of x and y will be positive. Diagonally opposite in the third quadrant, you can see x value negative, y value also negative. So, x negative, y negative in the third quadrant. First quadrant will have x positive, y positive. Diagonally opposite, you will have third quadrant with x value negative and the y value negative. When you consider the second quadrant, the value of x will be negative and the value of y will be positive. Diagonally opposite in the fourth quadrant, you will have x positive and y negative. Thus, when a point is given to you, you can identify in which quadrant the point lies based on the number line concept in your mind. The basic concept under coordinate geometry for you is to identify the coordinates of the points, to plot the points and to identify the quadrant. The main application of this coordinate system is in the next lesson, linear equation in two variables. This is a basic lesson to teach you how to plot the points in a coordinate system or a Cartesian system. So the type 1 question is, find the coordinates of the point P, R, T, S, B. Without drawing the perpendiculars, in the coordinate system, you will always read the coordinates in the order of x, y. And the system is always marked with the positive numbers of the x towards the right, negative numbers towards the left of the x coordinate, and positive numbers in the y coordinate towards the top position and below the negative numbers. The axis will not be changed in any case. It will always be a permanent coordinate system and we call them as coordinate axis. Now, the point P is here and the x value corresponds with -3 and the y value corresponds with -4. So the point P represents -3, -4, and if the position of the positive numbers and negative numbers on both the axes is very clear, you can identify the quadrant very easily. -3, -4 is in the fourth quadrant. The point R, the x value is -3 and the y value is 2. So the point R is -3, 2. Similarly, the point T. The point T, you can see here, the point T is on the y-axis. So, the x value is 0 and the y value is -4. So, any point on y-axis will have the x coordinate as 0. So, the point T is 0, -4. The point S, similar way, you can see the point X is on the x-axis. So, x value is 6, but the y value is 0. The point S is 6, 0. The point B, the x coordinate is 2 and the y coordinate is 4. 2, 4. Now, the type 2 question is plot the points minus 3, 2. If you want to plot the point minus 3, 2, the x value is minus 3 and the y value is 2. It came the same point as minus 3, 2. Let's name it again as A. Doesn't matter. The next point is minus 1, minus 6. Minus 1 and minus 6. The point is minus 1, minus 6, and you cannot write it as minus 6, minus 1. The values of x and y cannot be interchanged. The point is G. Next point, 0, 0. This represents 0, 0, and we also call it as the origin. So, what is the coordinate of the origin? The coordinate of origin is always 0, 0. Next is 0, 5. That means the point 0, 5 have x coordinate 0. That means this point will lie on the y-axis. Will lie on the y-axis, and the point minus 4, 0 has y coordinate 0, so it lies on the x-axis. 0, 5. 0, 5. It is the point D. The next point, minus 4, 0. Minus 4, 0 represent the point E. And the third type of question is identify the quadrant for the following points. Positive 2, positive 5. Both numbers positive will be in the first quadrant. Minus 8, 6. Should have an idea. The negative number and the positive y coordinate minus and 6. That means it is in the second quadrant. Then 5 minus 2. 5 is the positive x number. Minus 2 is the negative y coordinate. So 5 minus 2 will be in the fourth quadrant. And minus 3, both numbers negative, will be in the third quadrant. I hope all these questions are very clear to you, how to plot the points and identify the quadrants. Finally, before concluding the lesson, I would like to read out 3.4 summary in page 65 of your textbook, because the full summary of the properties will be explained here. So, in this chapter you have studied the following points. The first point, to locate the position of an object or a point in a plane, we require two perpendicular lines. One of them is horizontal and the other one is vertical. The plane is called the Cartesian or coordinate plane, and the lines are called the coordinate axis. Point 3, the horizontal line is called the x-axis and the vertical line is called the y-axis. The coordinate axis divide the plane into 4 parts called the quadrants. The point of intersection of the axis is called the origin. Then the distance of a point from y-axis is the x-coordinate or abscissa, and the distance of the point from the x-axis is called the y-coordinate or ordinate. If the abscissa of a point x and ordinate is y, then the ordered pair xy are called the coordinates of the point. The coordinates of a point on the x-axis is x0 and the coordinates of a point on the y-axis are 0, y. The coordinates of the origin are 0, 0. The coordinates of a point are of the form plus, plus in the first quadrant, minus, plus in the second quadrant, minus, minus in the third quadrant, and plus, minus in the fourth quadrant, where plus denotes a positive real number and minus denotes a negative real number. If x and y are not equal, then ordered pair xy is never equal to the ordered pair yx, and the ordered pair xy are equal to ordered pair yx only if x and y are of the same value. So the textbook page 65 3.4 summary will give the written definition of whatever I have explained in today's class.